Avast me hearties, ye want to walk the plank. A little bit of pirate trivia for you. Why do you see so many pirates with eye patches? It's not because it's comfortable.
Hi guys, I'm Turtle.
And I'm Bear, and we are the Gallivanthropologists. We're a father-son team of traveling anthropologists, and we're going to be going around the world traveling to over 100 countries the next few years.
While we're doing that, we're going to promote cultural heritage and ecotourism and a little bit of food culture. So please like and subscribe and stick with us because we got a really nice destination for you today. Hola amigos, bienvenido a Colombia. I had a great time here on a 3-day vacation, flew straight down from Fort Lauderdale, and you are in for a treat. The first thing that you want to do when you arrive there, because it's probably going to be almost evening, is start partaking in the food. We're going to have a whole food vlog for you coming out in like 2 weeks. But we stayed in Getsemani. That is where I would suggest you stay if you're into history and culture. It's just a beautiful area with this great street and great street food. So we decided to start the night off with that. This street's awesome, dude. I'm glad we stayed where we stayed, or we might not have found out about it. Like if we would have chose some in the old city. The gentleman behind me always has a crowd around him. Actually, this is the least crowded that I've seen him. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab something out of here. I'm gonna ask what it is first. We have a distinct agenda for certain things today, but as popular as he is, I'm gonna get whatever these guys are having and figure out what it is. Yeah, that's my man. On your first day in any new city, what I suggest is that you get a feel for it. And this place has so much feel and so much flavor. So once you've grabbed a little bit of that street food, which costs you almost nothing, you're gonna head back to the place you were last night and get into the real heart of Old Town. Once you get in there, there's all these winding streets and wonderful places to visit. I suggest that you start with a free walking tour, and I'll put a link in the bottom for the walking tour that I took. But it starts out at the Naval Museum, which is cool in and of itself. It's right along the wall, so if just as you go in the gate, you hug the wall, wind yourself around, you're gonna see the Navy Museum, and the thing that you're looking for is a big yellow umbrella. And on the walking tour, which I have to admit, bad YouTuber, I forgot to bring all the little sign-off things that say that people are okay with having their face on camera, and all of my footage had people's faces on it, so you're gonna have to deal with some of the great B footage that we shot while we were there, but it's gonna give you a feel for how beautiful the architecture really is in this old town. They've really regentrified it very nicely. They're also going to teach you about all these magnificent churches, and they're going to point out where all of the museums are and some of their favorite restaurants and places to get street food. And if you really delve into it, they're always run by locals, so you can get a real feel for what the city is. That way your next 2 days you don't really need somebody showing you around anymore. One of the things that I really loved was the animals. You're right near a tropical rainforest, and even though you have to be in the parks really to see a lot of this, there are some really cool things, especially the sloths, because the trees are so short, you can actually see them, which isn't something that we were able to do very well in Costa Rica. And then there's also a lot of statuary. Some of them are modern, some of them are old and commemorate important things, and some of them are important just because they're good luck. This is one of the most famous things in all of Old Town Cartagena. It was made by Fernando Botero, who is a really famous sculptor. He really likes things that are living large, whether it's pigeons or women. But one of the funnest parts about this is, much like throwing a coin in the Trevi Fountain or rubbing the nose of the pig in Florence, here you get to have a little bit more fun. Because if you want to come back here and have some good luck, you give the boobies a nice tap. I'll give them both because I want double luck. But when you come out here, they're firmer than they look. And plus you can just sit around and have a beer like my friend Leon's gonna do. The beautiful house behind me in orange, which is incidentally my favorite color, is kind of important to my family because this is where, when Francis Drake came and raided and held hostage the town of Cartagena, he stayed right in this house, which was an injured officer from the other side's house. And he kind of commandeered the house like he commandeered the whole town. They looted and pillaged and ended up having to like burn it and shoot a cannonball through their main cathedral as kind of a threat. And it worked because they quadrupled what they were willing to pay him, and so he left with a little less than what he wanted, but it was at least a moderately successful raid if you're into those type of things. I'm not so much, but you can't choose who your family is. And this is the Casa del Drake. And it's absolutely a beautiful little place. They somewhat celebrate it. I'm sure that it doesn't belong to that part of my family anymore, but when you have a piece of history, you celebrate it. I know there's just a family that lives in here because I saw them out on their balcony the other day. It's nice and not crowded this morning. Beautiful house. And I think between the walking tour and just walking on our own, we spent like 2 hours walking around. So we decided to go to a really nice ceviche place for lunch. You definitely want to get ceviche while you're here. This one happens to be right behind the candy shop you saw earlier. So there's a nice landmark for you. But make sure you go get some food. And then afterwards, we are going to check out one of the cool little museums here in Cartagena. We're here at the Museo de Oro Xenia in Cartagena, Colombia, and I absolutely love this. I love to see the original art that survived the Spanish coming in and collecting all of it. I like to think maybe this was squirreled away by families or in burials or something like that. But they represent each of the different tribes in the area and their different art. And it's magical and it's free, which was really nice surprise. I expected to pay the like $5 or $6, which is all you really pay to go into a lot of the other ones. This is a nice free museum. It is right around the corner from the History Museum and pretty much right next door to the Emerald Museum. We'll call this the Bolivar Square of museums. So if you want to see the museums here that we're showing you, come out to the Bolivar Square. There's some nice live music out here, lots of food vendors. It's a great little place with a lot of shade so you can cool off during the day also. So much of the gold that was found here, if it was discovered by the Spanish, it would have been turned into coins and bars and all these things, which is so sad to me today, because you can tell that the artisans at that time were doing some really great work. And I wish there was more of this that survived. As a matter of fact, I wish there was some of this in our museum as a testimony to the people who originally had and found a lot of the things that turned into supposedly Spanish treasure. They have gold fishing hooks? Holy cow. And so by now you are going to be good and hot. So Cartagena is very, very hot and it is good to get a swim in. And so I suggest you head over to the beach. There is a really nice beach over by all the modern hotels. And for all of you who wanted to see turtle go swimming, here you are. Afterwards, I would go and take a siesta. Everybody there loves a siesta. If you can find a hammock or head back to your hotel, a nice nap is in order because tonight we have something really, really special that we think you should do. Hola amigos, it is Turtle from La Fantastica Cartagena, and we are on a nice little pirate ship tonight. We are hopefully going to see the sunset if the clouds blow away, and we're just going to have fun, ham it up, pretend we're pirates. Speaking of pirates, did you know that the walls back here are at least partially the result of my uncle? If you want to learn more about that, stick with us because we're going to teach you a whole lot about Francis Drake tonight, Cartagena's history, and the walls that make this place so absolutely magical. Why do you see so many pirates with eye patches? It's not because it's comfortable. This is actually really uncomfortable and it's hard for your eyes to focus, but it was about your eyes focusing actually. So a lot of them did not have a missing eye. They actually would only wear this when they were in battle, and they would wear it in battle because they'd have to go from above decks down to below decks really quickly, and below decks can be very dark. So it is a very nice benefit to have one eye used to the sun and one eye used to the dark. And man, I gotta tell you, I've got some real contrast to this eye even after like 30 seconds of having the patch on the other one. See if we can keep the rain off of us for just a second. Nope, there's a nice drop, so hopefully you guys will be able to still see here. But behind me there's the statue of the Virgin del Carmen, and this is really important to sailors like our crew because she is here to bless them when they go out to sea, and hopefully she blesses us today because we're going to deal with a little bit of a storm, and I am buckled in, and my boy Leon is all decked out in his wonderful poncho, and he was much more prepared than I am. So there you go. all my Coast Guard training failing me right now as I get soaking wet and enjoy every minute of it. Woo! Grande, which is right over here, I do believe, and that's pretty interesting because you can't get things that draw more than like say 15 feet or 5 meters through here because the defenses were still set up. It was my understanding they put an underwater seawall across the big mouth here, Boca Grande, like me, big mouth. And we're gonna go out there, but all of these large ships that you've seen that are like the cargo ships that draw a lot, they have to go through Boca Chico, which is a smaller mouth over here, but it has more depth. It was more defensible. I thought we were gonna be going out there tonight because I assumed that this would draw more than it does, but because it's a relatively modern ship, it really isn't that deep of a draft. So we're gonna head on out this way. We're gonna hope that this rain dies down so that we can enjoy a nice sunset. But if not, for a coastie like, hang on the motherfucking rain, baby. And the storm did kick up a little bit, so we didn't actually get to go offshore. We did make it close enough though that I could see that it had changed significantly from the time when Drake had originally raided it. This is a diagram of my uncle's assault on Cartagena, and you can see it was much smaller. It mostly just consisted of where the walled city is today, and there wasn't defenses around these things, so he was able to kind of surround the city with his naval forces, and the couple of Spanish galleons that were in here to defend it were disabled or sunk during the battle. It's not clear, but you can tell that they didn't have a lot of the monumental architecture at that point, and he was able to come in and subdue this city, and his people came away with a small fortune that they were able to bring back to England. And afterwards, they started to reinforce with more fortresses in the different areas near Boca Chica and Boca Grande, and they built up the fortifications more here, and eventually they built San Felipe, which would guard against the attacks from behind like Admiral Vernon had done. But this is what it supposedly looked like when Drake raided it, and this was kind of his plan of attack, according to that and the rudimentary Spanish that I understand. Well, that was a successful excursion, and one that you should definitely do when you get here. The opportunity to get out on a supposedly pirate ship in a very important place for the story of pirates is absolutely wonderful. And the whole day was wonderful. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I thank you for sticking around this long. Next Sunday, we're gonna have day 2, and there's even more amazing things to do here in Cartagena. So please like, subscribe, do all the things to help us spread our voice and our word to make people want to visit places and enjoy them the way that we do. And as always, find yourself on the journey.